Hey everyone, it's Casey, and today we're going to do a deep stretching class. Full emphasis is going to be on the hips and into the hamstrings. So we're going to get around the full circumference of those hips. We're going to get them nice and open. All you're going to need for props today are 2 yoga blocks and a strap. If you don't have these things, books, leashes, belts, it all does the trick. So we're going to start off by grabbing 1 block and your strap and just having them somewhere nearby as you come down into a reclined position. So make your way down, and as you relax down, let's just bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees open up out to the sides, relaxing down towards the ground. And just give yourself a moment to relax your body. We're going to take a deep breath to release some of that tension that might be blocking that way. So let's meet at the bottom of the breath first. Slow breath in. Start to dig up some of that tension, any of those blockages. Lift the breath high up into your chest. And then anything that no longer serves you right here, right now, just open your mouth and exhale, let it all the way out. Slow breath through the nose. Fill all the way up from the belly, expanding up towards the chest in all directions. And then hold at the top. Open your mouth and exhale, let it all the way out. One more slow breath in. Take your time, gradually expand. And as you come to the top of the breath, just pause with it here for just a moment. And then keep the breath through the nose. Exhale, empty out from the top, all the way back down through the bottom. Now give yourself a few more of those breaths on your own. Just feel the full expansion of your breath through the diaphragm, through the lungs, finding the space. If this position becomes too uncomfortable on your hips at any point, feel free to come out and come back in when you're ready. Don't feel like you have to just sit in a position if it's causing your body any physical pain. One more breath. And the breath will help you kind of indicate the difference between discomfort and pain. You will not be able to breathe during the painful sensations, but you should be able to find a nice full rhythmic breath through the discomfort. So stick with the full breath to kind of help yourself stay on that side. All right, wiggle your fingers, your toes. And then take your hands down to the outsides of the legs and help to draw the knees towards each other. Use the help of your hands. Separate the feet and just windshield wiper your knees side to side or moving them around however it feels good. Let your body counter itself naturally, whatever it feels called to do here. And as we release deep into these stretches, ideally what we're doing is we're just holding them longer periods of time, focusing on those really deep breaths to soften and lengthen the muscles. Okay, so we might need a slow coming out, a little rest in between. Let everything relax from here. One more breath, just windshield wipering side to side. Okay. Now, as the knees come to center, you're going to reach over for your strap. Unroll your strap, or whatever you're using. And then as you lift your right foot, you're going to take the strap around the ball of that right foot, and then just slowly extend your right leg towards the ceiling. Now, if the leg does not extend all the way, you can keep a bend into the knee. Try to keep the foot stacked over your hips so there's not a lot of trying to pull it in with the arms. So keep the stacking here and just feel the heel angle up and the toes pulling back. I like to have the strap on the ball of the foot so the heaviness of my arms helps to pull my toes back getting a little more length into the back of that right leg, into the calf muscles and Achilles. So you can stay right here with your left foot on the ground or extend your left leg long, reaching through both of your feet. Relax your shoulders and try to take some tension out of this position. Use what is necessary, and that's it. If you feel you get good extension through the top leg, your body's asking for more depth, just pull it in closer towards your torso. Start to decrease the space between the leg and the body. And then once you find your variation that serves you, once again, checking in with the breath to make sure the breath is smooth, it's rhythmic. You're not beyond that threshold. You're not holding the breath isn't shaking. Smooth it out. And we're going to take about 10 slow breaths here. Focus on filling up from the belly to the chest and back down. And if your breath count is a little bit different, I'll just be breathing at my own pace, just as a benchmark. Not concerned as much about how many breaths, but just breathing deeply. Three more breaths here. Maybe feel yourself going in a little deeper. Last deep breath. Okay, now you're going to take both ends of your strap into your right hand. Try to extend your right arm up while keeping the right shoulder blade on the ground. Just hold as high up onto the strap as you can towards the foot. Okay, left hand is just going to set on top of the left hip, making sure it stays down. Taking the top leg, slowly begin to open it out to the right side. And as it opens, once again, feel the space to make sure the left hip doesn't curl up away from the ground. And then as that right leg opens, it may only move a little bit. That's perfectly fine. It may move closer towards the ground. Feel it out for yourself and stay connected with your breath as that indicator. Once you find that sweet spot, maybe pulling it a little closer towards the torso. Heavy in your left hip. Try to relax into the shoulders. Soften the muscles in your face. Give yourself 10 slow breaths. Once again, if the breath count is too long for you, your body starts to feel too uncomfortable, you can come out. You can feel free to just move around however much you need until you can either come back or until we move on to the next thing. Make sure you're honoring your body first and foremost. 3 more breaths. Try not to rush. Last one here. Now use your hand with the strap to help lift the leg back to center. Now, once the leg's right above you, you're just gonna switch hands. Left hand is gonna grab the strap ends, shoulder relaxes towards the floor. Right arm can just fall out from the right shoulder, straight out to the side. Now with the leg above you, reaching up through the foot as much as you can, maybe pull it in a little closer, feel into that new edge. And then from that space, moving your leg maybe 2 to 3 inches over towards the left side. And as you move to the left side, you shouldn't need very much before you start to feel a lot of intensity building all the way down the side of that right leg. Slow your breath down, try to relax your face. Feel the softness of your eyes, your jaw, the space between the eyebrows. Try to relax some tension from your shoulders. And since we've been here a little bit already, let's take 8 more slow, connected breaths. Once again, your breath count might be a little bit different than mine. Listen to what your body needs. If it's too long, come out. Otherwise, just let the mind relax and enjoy the breathing, enjoy the sensation. Let's take 3 more breaths. Feel into that edge. Last deep breath in this position. And then you're going to slowly loosen up the strap so it's not as intense on the leg, and just start to bend the knee. You're going to release the strap out to the side for just a moment. Left hand to the knee, right arm to the side. Take a deep breath in and exhale, twist. Just pull the knee over to the left and down towards the ground. Right shoulder blade stays heavy on the floor, maybe head rolls to the right. Just give yourself a couple more breaths, relaxing into the spine, loosening all the way down into the hips. And then let the head roll back to center. Let the knee come back up to center. And then just stretch your right leg long to meet the left. Shake out your legs, move them however you'd like to here. Feel the differences in your sides. Really, really deep stretches into those hips. Okay, there's absolutely no rush, but when you're ready, we're going to go into the other side. Left knee, actually let's start by bending both knees. We'll start with these variations and then progress. Left knee lifts towards the chest. Let's take the strap and loop it around the ball of the left foot. Extending the left leg towards the ceiling. Once again, the knee can be bent, or if the leg can straighten, work on fully straightening and then pulling in a little closer towards your upper body. Now, right knee can stay bent with the foot flat on the ground, or extend that right leg forward, reaching out through both of your feet. And then if you are reaching too high up onto the strap that the shoulder blades are lifted and curled away from the floor, melt them back down. Hold down onto the strap. Just find that sweet spot where you can still provide stability and a little bit of drawing in, but without tensing up, lifting, or putting unnecessary tension into the shoulders or into the position itself. So as the eyes sink back, use only what is needed. And let's slowly take 8 more deep breaths. Anchor in. Slow everything down. Focus on smoothing out that discomfort. Three more breaths. Last one. Nice. Let's take both ends of the strap into the left hand. Left shoulder stays down, holding as high up on that strap as you can. Right hand rests on top of the right hip, keeping it anchored down. And then take that top leg, slowly open it out to the left side. Moving easy, making sure the right hip stays down. And then just find that edge. Maybe pulling it in a little closer, maybe using your elbow like a little kickstand for support if it's available. Close your eyes, 10 slow breaths. Notice all the subtle sensations. 3 more deep breaths. Maybe feel yourself sink a little deeper into your edge. One more deep breath here. And then use the assistance of your hand to help lift the leg back up to center. And then with it right above you, switch hands first. Right shoulder blade stays down this time. Left arm falls out to the left side. First, kick up through that top foot, maybe pull it in a little closer. And then from there, moving the leg a few inches over to the right side. Moving really slow. And once you feel the side of the leg start to really awaken and open up, holding here, you can pull it in a little bit closer to feel into that edge a little deeper. Try not to tense your face up. Try not to tense any other areas of your body up. Relax yourself fully. Feel yourself settle in, one breath at a time. Now let's take about 8 more. Three more deep breaths. Once again, feel into that edge. Now you're going to just loosen up the strap a little bit until you can bend the knee, unloop the foot, set the strap to the side. Right hand is going to grab that left knee, left arm stays to the side as you take a deep breath in, and then exhale, twist. Pull the knee over to the right and down, keep the left shoulder grounded, twisting here. Take a few deep breaths to just let yourself relax into the lower back, all the way down into the hips. One more deep breath. Head to center, knee to center. Set both feet to the ground, bend the knees, walk the feet in, and just rock your knees side to side. Relax your hips once again. Reaching over for your block now. I'd recommend your block be on one of the lower two settings, either flat or on its side, okay? With the knees bent, feet walk in towards the hips, lift the hips up, and you're gonna slide your block at one of those lower settings right underneath your sacrum. Behind the sacrum, so you feel a nice flat surface, like a little shelf that you're relaxing onto. And you should feel instantly a release into your lower back. If it doesn't, if it creates tension in your lower back, you can always come in and out of this position. I want to make sure it feels good. Take about 1 or 2 more breaths here, just kind of letting the lower back start to relax, starting to get comfortable in this shape. Now slowly start to lift your right knee towards your chest. Hands reach around for the knee, shin, or maybe the thigh. And then walk your left leg forward until you can stretch and straighten the leg as much as possible. And then you get to gauge the depth of the stretch by pulling your right knee closer towards the chest. The more you pull the knee in, the more weight that comes out of your left leg, until maybe you feel the stretch with your foot on the ground still, foot is heavy. Maybe your foot hovers. It should not require effort for your foot to lift. Foot is heavy and you're just pulling the right knee in to counter that stretch, maybe creating that little bit of a float. Once you feel the right amount of intensity for you, maybe that means backing off a little bit. If the foot hovering is too much, let it anchor down and just play into that space. 10 slow breaths. Try to breathe all the way down into your hip flexors, the front of that left hip. Three more breaths. Back off if you need to. Encourage more depth if it's available and your body is permitting you to do so. And then on the end of that exhale, slowly release. Let the feet touch down to the ground. And nice and gentle as you walk the feet in. And since the hips are lifted, very, very soft, maybe rock the knees side to side. Okay. Another breath or so, just melt that open. And as the knees sway to center, let's now pull the left knee towards the chest. Hands reaching around the knee, shin, or thigh, holding it in place as you walk the right leg out, nice and long in front of you. Reach out through the foot, heel is heavy, and just start to pull your left knee closer and closer towards the chest. Taking more and more weight out of that extended leg. Maybe the foot stays on the ground, feeling into that sensation. Maybe the foot hovers, adding a little bit of intensity. If it feels all right to do so, go for it. Otherwise, stick where you can breathe smoothly. Relax unnecessary tension from the face and from the mind. And since we've been here for a moment already, let's take 8 more slow breaths. 3 more breaths here. Once again, really visualize the breath moving all the way down into the hip. Last deep breath. Really gentle, release your feet to the ground. Bend the knees, walk the feet in. And we're just going to lift the hips, remove the block for now out of the way. Let the hips melt back down and then just sway the knees around or move them however you please for a few breaths and just kind of recalibrate. Let the body re-neutralize itself. Alrighty, from here we're going to come up to a seated position. You can either come up to seat by rolling to a side and pressing yourself up, or grab your thighs and rock forward and back until you have the momentum to come up into a seated position. You can set your blocks near the front of the mat so that they're available to you. I don't think we're going to need our strap for the rest of the time. So we're going to come into a pigeon pose, which is going to open up into the outer hip and into the glutes. The variation that I'm going to show you, our weight does sink down onto the knee. So if at any point that does not feel good for you, I want you to do the same thing, but on your back, figure 4, and just grab that leg, pull it in while keeping the hips down and the head relaxed, okay? This is essentially the same stretch, but you get to choose the amount of tension that you're creating, as well as your body weight is not just sinking down with gravity onto your leg, okay? So take that if you need it. Otherwise, let's make our way into a tabletop position, coming onto hands and knees. And then from here, I like to walk my knees back just a little bit to provide more space for the entry. Right knee is going to slide forward behind the right wrist, and then walk the foot in front of the hips as far towards the left wrist as you'd like. So sometimes just in front of the hips is enough. If you want more depth, keep walking the foot out. And then make sure you can sink your hips back and down, relaxing that back leg directly behind the hip. The top of the foot rolls towards the ground, okay? If your hips are pulling to either side, you can cushion them with a block, blanket, whatever you have. Okay, and then create a nice little flex into that front ankle. If you don't feel enough, keep drawing it forward. If you feel too much, pull it back in. Nice long lifted spine. Take a deep breath in. Maybe walk the hands up a little higher. And then exhale, slowly start to release forward and down. Maybe come onto blocks, maybe come down onto your forearms, maybe open up the elbows, lower down onto your chest, maybe bring a block underneath your head. There's lots of options here for support, but I want you to use, once again, only what's needed. So if your head is lifted, you're using the muscles in your neck. Even if it doesn't feel like much, I want you to relax it. So feel the head drop down. And you're going to give yourself 10 slow breaths from this position. Try to relax into your glutes, relax into your shoulders, your face. Slow everything down. Focus on releasing and relaxing little bits at a time. Three more slow breaths. If you're able to sink a little deeper, do so. If you need to back off, listen to your body. Last deep breath here. Slowly walk back up onto your hands. You're going to spend 3 breaths here, either just lifting your chest, trying to get your body weight to stack up over your hips. Or if you want a little bit more, bend into your back knee and reach back with your left hand for the foot, pulling it in a little bit closer. Getting an extra stretch into your quad. You can also use your strap here, okay? So another little handy opportunity for your strap. One last breath. And then slowly release that foot back down to the ground, hands forward. You're going to tuck the back toes, walk that back knee in just a little bit until you can swivel the right foot out, come out of the position, and feel free to kind of move around however you need to here. Give yourself a few breaths. Okay, coming back into that tabletop position, and this time you're going to walk the knees back a little bit and then slide your left knee behind the left wrist. Keep it pointed towards the wrist. Open the foot in front of the hips as far forward as you'd like. Find the appropriate amount of intensity for your body on this side. And then walk your right leg back. Leg is nice and long behind your right hip, toenail side down. Lifting up here, nice long extended spine. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, release yourself forward and down. Once again, you can use both of your blocks underneath your arms. You can use blocks underneath your head. Maybe come down onto the forearms, open up the elbows, maybe lower onto stacked hands, or releasing all the way down to the ground. There's so many options. The slower you move, the more you can feel into these options. Take some tension out of your shoulders. Use only what is needed here and make any necessary adjustments from this space. If you need more depth, take it deeper, walk the foot out. If you need less depth, walk the foot in or come up a little bit higher. Once you're there, since we've been here for a moment, let's take 8 more slow breaths. Support yourself as much as possible. Three more breaths. Maybe feel yourself settle in a little deeper. And then slowly start to come back up onto your hands. Same thing, just take your time. Walking the hands up, trying to get more and more weight to stack high over your hips. Option to stay here for a few breaths or bend into your back knee and reach back with your right hand for the foot or a strap around the foot as you pull it in. If you need to support the hips if they're falling to a side. 2 more deep breaths. And then slowly release the foot to the ground, hands to the mat. Tuck those back toes as you walk the back knee in a little bit. Swivel the left foot out, and then come out of the position. Go ahead and move as you please here for a few breaths. Once again, just kind of feel through that tension, bringing your body back into a more neutralized space. Okay, so I'm going to turn sideways on the mat here for just a moment. We're going to go through a froggy pose, and froggy is really going to target into the inner hips and into the groin. So I like a little bit of cushion off to the sides to support my knees. I sometimes will roll the mat back so that I create an extra layer of that cushion all the way across. You can do it multiple layers, however many you would like, okay? But you're going to come into a tabletop position, hands and knees, and then start to walk the knees apart as far away as you can get them. So you're doing a wide splits with the knees. And then open up your feet away from each other until your shins run parallel to each other. So this should create 90-degree bends into your knees as well as into your ankles, frog legs. Hips stay in alignment with your knees all the way across. And you can stay on your hands, you can lower down onto blocks, forearms to floor, or all the way down to the ground, okay? I'm gonna turn back sideways here. And just let yourself settle in as much as you can. Provide support if needed. Maybe continue to walk the knees apart. Maybe you need to walk them in. Take yourself out of the position. Make sure you're listening to your body through your breath. Let's try to take 8 more slow breaths here. Once again, if you need to come out, if it's way too much for you, come out. Move back in when you're ready, or just take rest until we're out of the position. Slow everything down here and try to really melt through your shoulders, through your face. Three more breaths. And then to come out of this, you can either inchworm forward and out, just sliding onto the belly, or come up onto your hands, slowly walk the knees and feet towards each other, and wherever you come out of the position from, I want you to just move from there or rest into a position that brings you some comfort and some release for about 3 to 4 breaths. Okay, we're gonna finish off strong here. We have 2 blocks, have them to either side of the mat. If your hamstrings are pretty darn open and you can straighten your leg with your hands on the ground, you don't need the blocks, they're just there as a great option. I like a little more space sometimes. Okay, otherwise blocks to either side. Okay. From tabletop, you're gonna step your right foot forward between your hands. If you need to step it out to the side and walk it around to the front, do so, but I want your knee to stack over the ankle to start, okay? Blocks are a great option. Create more space as you step forward. Once you're there, you're gonna walk the foot forward until you can straighten out the leg. And with the leg straightened, keep the hips stacked over the back knee to begin. Okay, this is a half split position. You might just stay here perfectly fine. Work on extending your chest away from the hip line. Nice long back. Okay, I'm gonna scoot this back just a little bit. Now, if you wanna go a little bit deeper into the stretch, start to wiggle that front heel forward. But I want your hips to stay pointing forward the whole time, not turning out to the side, okay? Left hip draws forward as you walk the right leg out. Now, as you sink the hips closer to the ground, I want you to just pause whenever you feel your edge. You can stay with your hands on blocks, on the floor. If your hips sink all the way down, great. Otherwise, stay here. If you're pretty close, you might even be able to support right underneath your right sit bone, underneath that hip, and just let your body weight kind of sink in from here. You can adjust your blocks as needed for support. I want you to still feel a stretch. Pretty deep stretch. Let's take about 3 more deep breaths. Won't be here for too long. I know this one can get pretty spicy. Okay, you're gonna press through the blocks or through the ground, wiggle that back foot back in. You can come back up onto the blocks or your hands, bring that right foot back. And once again, let's just kind of shake out in between sides. If you need more space, hands stay on the blocks. You're going to step your left foot forward between the hands. Knee stacks right over the ankle to begin, with or without your blocks. Okay, and then from here, we're going to walk the front foot forward until we can straighten the leg. Toes pull back while keeping the hips stacked above the back knee. Nice long spine here. Stay, or keeping the hips squared forward, start to wiggle the heel forward. Maybe walk the back knee back if needing a little more space. And then just start to settle in here. If you're pretty close to the ground, you might be able to support underneath your left hip. Keep trying to square out through the hips. Deepen the breath. Let's take just a few more here. Last deep breath. Hands come down, blocks are to the floor. Press hips back as you walk the front foot in. Maybe use your blocks to step back. Tabletop, and then just move however you please here. Okay, find your way into a nice, comfortable seated position. Okay, from your seated position, we're just going to finish off nice here with a little bit of a spinal twist and side body opener. So actually, I'll go back to the side so you can get a side view. Arms reach up, deep breath in, lift up. Exhale, twist to the right side. Left hand to your right knee, right fingertips to the ground. Lift your spine, take a deep inhale. And then exhale, twist a little deeper to the right side. Maybe look over the right shoulder. One more breath here. Okay, continue to hold on to the knee. Back hand reaches up on an inhale, lift the spine. And then exhale, lean over to that left side, stretching overhead. Feel all the way down into that lower right part of your back, all the way down into your hip. And then inhale, come all the way up. Unravel as the arms stretch over your head, lifting tall. And then exhale, we're going to twist to the left side. Right hand to the left knee, left fingertips to the ground right behind the hips. Lift the spine, deep breath in. And then exhale, twist to that left side. Looking back over that shoulder. Deep breath in, lifting a little taller. A little bit deeper on the exhale. Now you're going to continue to hold on to the knee with your right hand. Let's take the back hand, reach it up, take a deep breath in, lift the spine. And then exhale, lean over towards the right side. Stretching into your left side body from the hip all the way up the side. Inhale, come back up, unravel, arms reach high over your head, and then take your hands down together, heart center. Go ahead and close your eyes here. We're going to take a few slow breaths just to kind of ground down all of that energy we've built. So release all your breath out. Slow breath in through the nose. Gather from the belly all the way up to the chest, lifting up any residual tension lingering in the body. Hold at the top. Open your mouth, exhale, let it all the way out. Again, slow breath in from the bottom all the way up to the top. Hold the breath. Open your mouth, exhale, let it out. And then we're going to keep the breath smoothly through the nose. Inhaling from the bottom to the top. Take your time, all directions. Holding. And then keep the breath through the nose. Exhale, empty out from the chest to the ribs and all the way out through your belly. Thank your bodies for all that they do for you, wherever they are in your yoga journey. And thank you so much for trusting me to be your guide. Namaste. Thanks so much, everyone. These are my go-to stretches to kind of, once again, cover all the parts in the hips to feel nice and open, ready for some movement. Let me know in the comments how your hips are feeling. I would love to know any suggestions for future class focuses. I'm here for it. And thank you again. I'll see y'all soon.